girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
Well, welcome in. It's voice
evening.
of college football, West Virginia style. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Dave, how you doing, brother?
I wish I had a West Virginia hat.
Oh man,
I'll try to cover it up here.
I want you to know when I went down to Hog Fest, I took several hats with me for people that showed up and didn't have a hat. And I want you to know I didn't give but one hat away the whole time I was there. But yeah, I had a few with me. If you'd have been there, I'd have give you one. So, yeah, that'd been cool. Anyway, so how's everybody doing tonight? So listen to our show tonight, because I was a little late to the punch. I've been like behind since I got back from Hog Fest, Dave. So I've been back for 2 weeks. I think I'm still like 2 months behind from that because, you know, I do a lot. And so like when I miss a week, it takes me a very, very long time to get caught up. And I am really way behind. So I was sitting there today and I was like, wonder what I'm going to talk about tonight in my show. And Shane's not with us. Shane's on vacation. So Shane won't be here tonight. But I thought, I've got an interview next Thursday. It was supposed to be today. We had to postpone it till next Thursday. But I've got an interview with Senator Joe Manchin. So Joe's been a friend of my family for a lot of years. I'm not a Democrat, guys. So just don't. There's no need to hit me with politics because Joe and I see completely different when it comes to politics. But he is a good friend. He's a good friend of the family. Nice guy. And he's a graduate of WVU, and he played quarterback at WVU back in the 60s. So, hey, I'm bringing him on the show. He comes on every year for me, every single year for the last 4 years, I believe. I've had him on for a few minutes, and we've talked. Usually it's on Golden Blue Dude or on the main channel of the Voice of College Football. This year, for the first time, it's going to be on this channel only. West Virginia Football, Voice of College Football, my interview with Joe Manchin. One question that I have for him. So Gordon Gee, the president of West Virginia University, has announced that he's retiring next year, 2025, when his contract's up in, I had it up here. Let me look and see. It's, when is his contract up? My goodness. I can't remember when his contract up. June 30th, 2025. That's his last day of work, Gordon Gee. And it's about time if you ask most Mountaineer fans. Now, who is going to replace Gordon Gee as the president of Western University? Because listen, with all this conference realignment and everything going on, West Virginia trying to position herself in the best position to get into the best conference they can possibly get in, right? We need a good president. So I started thinking to myself, Joe Manchin is retiring from politics this year. This is his last term. This is it. Wonder if he set this up and retiring early from politics. Notice he didn't even run for president, and he was talking about it. There was some talk about it, but he didn't even throw his hat in the ring. I'm wondering if maybe he is going to like step into the role as president of Western University. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. I'm wondering if that's a possibility. But there are
I,
some others. But anyway, I'm gonna
you
mention everybody. Go ahead, Dave.
you really caught me off guard with the getting out of politics things, because I see him as not just a potential president of a university in West Virginia, of course, but as the potential candidate for the president of the United States. So I was not aware that had said he was getting out of politics.
Right. He
Um,
announced his retirement. This is his last term in office. He's done. So I guess the new senators will take over in what, January? So he will. Well, they take over before that. When did senators take over?
oh, I
Is
think
it?
it's an every 6 year thing. So did he not run his last election?
Well,
I'm not
I'm
up
thinking
on
that
bureaucracy.
I'm thinking that he's supposed to be running this year, and he's not. I don't know. I don't keep up
I,
with that part of it. Here's what I do know is I know that he's retiring from politics and getting out of
uh,
it, and I know Gordon Gee's retiring as president of Western University. I don't think things could lay in place any better for him. But
yeah.
here's the thing about it, right? So here's a list of candidates for president of Western University. And guys, these candidates are absolutely amazing. All right. So here's one. This is probably the low guy on the totem pole as far as like his accomplishments, right? And that's T. Ramon Stewart, Ramon, Ramon Stewart. He's got a PhD. He's an accomplished university administrator, originally from Welch, West Virginia. He's a two-time graduate of Benjamin M. Statler College of Engineering at Western University, and he completed a doctorate from Gladys W. and David H. Patton College of Education at Ohio University. He returned home to West Virginia to become campus president of Western University Institute of Technology on January 1st, 2023. So he's right here in my hometown of Beckley, West Virginia, because that's where WVU Tech is. He's the president of WVU Tech right now. So, hey, great candidate, right? Obviously, he's going to have some experience, knows what it means to run a university because and knows what it's like to work for WU because he's there, obviously. Right. So then we have Patricia Harris. All right. So who's Patricia Harris? Well, Patricia Harris is an American psychiatrist and the first African American woman to be elected president of the American Medical Association. She is
Amen.
elected the 174th president in June of 2019. She's a native of West Virginia, received her doctorate of medicine degree at West Virginia. Her practice in psychiatry and public health, her practice of psychiatry and public health has been in Atlanta, Georgia. But like I say, she's a native of Bluefield, West Virginia. So she's uh, very well accomplished. She's already the president of the American Medical Association. So that would be a great get, right? Then the next one that's really got me here. Bray Carey. Bray Carey. Braycary. Bray Carey. Albert Bray Carey. Born June 5th, 1948. Senior political advisor, as well as a U.S. based media and sports marketing entrepreneur. He is also the president and chief executive officer and member of the board of directors of West Virginia Media Holdings, a multimedia company serving 90% of West Virginia. In 1984, he founded Creative Sports and Marketing Production Company based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Creative Sports was acquired by ESPN in 1994. Kerry is credited as the architect of the growth of NASCAR. So he signed the $2.4 billion deal with Fox and NBC for NASCAR in 1999 and a historic internet contract between NASCAR and Turner AOL in 2000. So he's the brains behind the big NASCAR push that got NASCAR really. Yeah, I mean NASCAR was on the map, obviously, but do you remember the '90s? How big NASCAR was, the late '80s, early '90s, all the way through the '90s and 2000s, early 2000s. NASCAR was huge up until Dale Jr. retired, really. So and that was all because of this guy here. So that's another candidate for president. And then, of course, you got to get to Joe Manchin. We all know his accomplishments, right? I mean, governor of West Virginia, long time serving senator for the United States of America, a senator from West Virginia, um, kind of a centrist, right? So he left the Democratic Party. He stepped down from the Democratic Party. Um, what was that, a couple years ago? Walked away from it um, because the Democratic Party had gotten so far left, and it was just too far left for him. He's not exactly a conservative. He's not exactly a Democrat. He's somewhere in the happy medium, and he would be a great candidate for president of Western University.
He's
So
almost overqualified.
that is what I named four candidates that are top notch, top of their field. Absolutely, we got the president of the American Medical Association. You know, we have the president of media holdings companies and stuff and that he ran NASCAR and got NASCAR all those big money back in the '90s. I mean, we have a list of really, really strong candidates for this job. Um, and who will they hire ultimately? I don't know. They might hire Kelly McCourt. Kelly McCourt says, "Hi, Joey and Dave." They might hire Kelly McCourt. Kelly, are you going to apply for the job at WVU?
Well, good luck against those candidates.
I know. Seriously, I mean
And,
that's like
and
accomplishments from hell.
did I not hear three of those four are native West Virginians? Or
Yes, all of them were native West Virginians, including
okay,
Joe Manchin. All of them were
okay,
native
so
West
all
Virginians.
four that you mentioned were then.
All of them went to West Virginia University.
So
All of them have doctorates or really high degrees from WVU. B Bean says the driveway. Seriously, Joey, that's an inside joke. We was on another channel a while ago talking about another thing in the driveway. Yeah, in the driveway, but actually under the driveway. Did you read my comment, Bean? It was actually under the driveway. Anyway, um, so and Kelly McCourt says no, he's not going to be president of Western University. But I just wonder. All right, so Gordon Gee, he had a lot behind him, right? I mean, he's been around in universities. God, he used to be the president of Ohio State, president of North Carolina, I think, president of West Virginia. He's been around some of the bigger programs, some of the better programs. So Gordon Gee stepping down, retiring. I'm just trying to figure out though who would be the best candidate to replace him.
well,
Anyway,
you got some great choices.
yeah, we do,
And,
we do.
this is what my thought is that you're a very lucky people to have a homegrown candidate or two or three or four,
Four,
because
right?
my school, like many others, think they're going for the best of the world or the best of the nation, and they're not taking people necessarily from with local ties, and so that's a tremendous advantage to any university to have one of their own come home to lead them. And these are all obviously people with leadership qualities that are second to none. So you're very
Yep,
fortunate. That I wish I lived in
yep.
West Virginia.
And we wish you lived here too.
I almost did it. I almost did it. I just couldn't commit.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so now let's get to talking a little bit of college football because I know that you don't want to talk about president of Western University, and I doubt if anybody in the chat does really, but it is a big thing right now with all this conference realignment. This is going to be a major move for West Virginia in hiring the next president, right?
It, if you take Manchin, you have to have the fear that he may leave if he's called upon to lead his country. So he might not be there as long as you'd like.
I don't think he will because look, he had an opportunity when Biden dropped out. Yeah, and then think about it. Seriously, Biden didn't drop out till Joe Manchin called for it. I mean, he had a lot of Democrats that were calling for him to resign. He didn't step down that morning. Joe Manchin came out and called for him to step down, and he stepped down. Now, Kamala taking his place, I don't think Joe's real happy about that. And
We,
obviously, in my interview with him is going to be about college football. We're not going to talk politics, but I'm just wondering, why didn't he go ahead and jump in the race? And there has to be a reason that he didn't, to be honest with you. And either it's because he just completely wants out of politics altogether and he's done with it and he wants to really retire, or he's thinking about that president's job at Western University and thinking, hey, that could get me back home, right? And get him back in his home state, be him back with his friends, his buddies, and he could probably do a lot more good at Western University than he could in Washington. Honestly, because there's nobody can do good in Washington. You get there, you got the best dreams and the highest hopes, and you know you're going to do it. And then that Washington money machine pushes you under the dirt, because you either take that money or you don't. If you don't take that money, guess what? You don't get reelected. Your ass is out because they put the kitchen sink against you then. But if you take that money, guess what? You just voted for money instead of voting for your heart. So that's how that works. All right. Let's talk some college football. Let's talk about can WVU win the Big 12 this year? All right. So, Dave, I know you don't know a whole lot about WVU. I mean, but
I don't know
we do
a lot about
return
anybody
we,
anymore.
we do return 90% of our offensive production off a team that went 9-4 last year. We do return about 70% of our defense off a team that went 9-4 last year. But the reason we lost 4 games is our defense wasn't that real good. I mean, we could have stopped some people. We probably could have won a few more games. But at the same time, our offense did stutter at times, so I can't blame the defense completely. This year, though, it's looking like a really complete team. We're going to have a really good offense. We know this already. Even even our backup quarterback is really good and just as good as our starting quarterback. Our backup running back is probably better than our starting running back. Our backup wide receivers are probably just as good, if not better, than our starting wide receivers. Um, so where do we have weakness? It's in defense. It's in secondary in defense, and they're saying now they feel like our secondary is going to be pretty strong. So I'm wondering, can West Virginia win the Big 12 this year? We got some serious teams out there. A lot of people don't realize Iowa State. Iowa State's returning a lot of players, a lot of players, and and I've been saying this, and I don't know how true it is. This is what I heard. They have like seventh year seniors from tackle to tackle on their offensive line, and so if you think about that, that means they're all COVID year, right? So they've all got that extra ability. They all stuck around, and now here they are, seventh year seniors, and I think their quarterback sixth year for the quarterback, like 6th year for running back. A couple of wide receivers are like in their 6th year. Iowa State's going to be loaded, guys. Iowa State's going to be really good. Two dark horses in the Big 12. Iowa State and West Virginia. My concern is what would it take for West Virginia to get to the top and win the Big 12? We have a very, very, very tough schedule. We play. We start the season off with Penn State. Then we get a cupcake. Then we got to play Pitt at Pitt, right? So we get Penn State at home, but so what? They're a top 10 team. Then we got to go to Pitt. Okay, that's a rivalry game. I don't care how bad Pitt is or how bad West Virginia is. That's a rivalry game, and anything can happen. Then the next thing you know, we got Kansas. Kansas is top 25 team this year. Kansas State, top 25 this team this year. Arizona, top 25 team this year. We have to play 5 teams in the Big 12 in a row who are all projected to be the top 5 teams in the Big 12. We play them one after another. I'm going to bring up our schedule. I do not have our schedule up, but I do want to bring that up. WVU football schedule,
You're
2024.
kidding me.
I'm gonna bring this up because this is really this is really scary. So, Dave, here you go. Listen to this. All right, like I said, starting off the year with Penn
Wow.
State, then we play Albany, and then we go to Pitt. Right. So, 2 out of 3 of those games are going to be very, very tough. Then Kansas, who's preseason ranked in probably 75% of the polls, they're a preseason top 25 teams. I think one poll has them as high as like 14th in the country. So then we got to play Kansas. Then we got to play Oklahoma State. Guess what? Top 25 team in just about everybody's poll. One of the top 4 front runners to win the Big 12. Then we got to play Iowa State. Like I just mentioned, Iowa State returned all these players. A lot of people have Iowa State in their top 25. Then we got to play Kansas State. Kansas State, top 25 team, projected to be one of the one of the teams that's playing for the Big 12 championship. Arizona, newcomer to Big 12. Arizona's top 25 team, right? Top 25. Might have lost their head coach. They didn't lose anybody else. They've got all their players returning. They're a really good football team, and they do have a good coach. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of our first 8 games, out of our first 8 games, 7 of them could beat us. Honestly, Albany's not going to beat us. That's the only team. Penn State, yep, they can beat us. Pitt, yep, they can beat us. Especially at Pitt, it's a rivalry game. I don't care how bad Pitt is or how good West Virginia is, or vice versa. It could happen. The next week, Kansas, yeah, and Kansas could beat us. Oklahoma State, without a doubt. Iowa State, yes. Kansas State, yes. Arizona, without a doubt. So 7 of our first 8 games are a possibility of losses. I hope not. I don't want that to be, but that's kind of crazy. That's a tough schedule when you're playing 7. 6 of the teams are at least in 5 or 6 top 25 polls. 6 of the first 8 teams. Pitt's the only one that's not in there, in Albany, obviously. Pitt is the only one that's not in anybody's top 25 that we got to play. All them other teams are all in somebody's top 25, and I'm not talking about YouTube top 25 people like myself. I'm talking about ESPN or Rivals or somebody like that. They're top 25. 6, 6 of our first 8 opponents are in the top 25 in some of these polls. That's going to be a tough schedule. Can West Virginia win the Big 12? If West Virginia can beat Penn State, yes, West Virginia can win the Big 12. If West Virginia loses to Penn State, then beats Albany and beats Pitt, and then plays Kansas, that's going to be a toss-up game for me, that Kansas game. What do you think, Dave?
I think, again, not knowing all the specifics, my heart tells me that Pennsylvania is going to Penn State is going to be obviously a potential and I think likely loss. Again, not
Right.
you understand my
I
perspective.
think everybody does.
Of course,
Yeah.
Albany. If you can beat Pittsburgh, I think they're more than capable of beating Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, there are a lot of these games are going to be iffy and 50-50 at the moment. As the season progresses, you'll see what kind of team you have and what your capability is in the second half of the season, so to speak. Hoping to see you get to 3-1. 3-1, thinking that Penn State is the loss, but I feel like obviously could more than likely going to take care of Albany. I think is that Albany, New York.
Albany,
Holy
I
crap!
guess, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
what
Who?
I'm thinking now,
But Pittsburgh,
my thought process about this is I'm like you.
Kansas.
I want to see us get to 3-1 after the Kansas win. That would be 3-1.
That that
But
would
in
that would
first,
embolden them to continue and build on. If they can get to that point, then those 50-50 games, if you will, against all of those 5. I looked real quickly that you mentioned they were all not just top 25 teams. All of the 5 teams ahead of you in the Sports Illustrated prediction. I just looked at that real quickly to get a
right?
feel for what the Big 12 was about. Shocked by the number 1 choice. Get to that in a
Utah,
minute or whatever.
Utah.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. Utah's going to be really, 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 really good. And not only that, they have the easiest football schedule probably in the country. They don't play anybody. I
And
mean,
yours is
they play Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State's the only team they play that's probably top 25.
and you play like 5 of them,
Right.
6 or
They
so.
don't they don't play West Virginia. They don't play Kansas State. They don't play Kansas. They don't play Arizona. I don't they might play Arizona. They might play Arizona.
But
But
yeah,
but their schedule is extremely easy. Utah's schedule is easy. Because even the tough games, the ones that are tough, other than Oklahoma State, all those are at home. All their tough games are at home. And the only tough game they've got on the road is Oklahoma State. And I feel like Utah will lose that game to Oklahoma State. Now, don't mean that I don't think they can win the Big 12 because I still think they win the Big 12. Their schedule's just too easy. And I think Oklahoma State was going to drop a couple and maybe not be in the Big 12 championship game. So, it's just my thought.
it's a tough road ahead. But if um, again, you got to wait until the games are played to see what they're really capable of doing under that environment. Then that'll tell you what the future holds. Hopefully, but
Controversial Cruising,
thank
appreciate you stopping
you.
in. Ty Sport says hi, Joey and Dave. Ty Sport, appreciate you dropping in as well. But people aren't chatting. We need some people to chat out there. You guys need to chat. Ask some questions. Look, Shane's not here. Like Shane's on vacation, and I am so unprepared to do a show. But I wanted to do a show. I wanted to go live. I don't care if we just hang out and talk football. You know, that's what's fun about it, really. To be honest with you, it's just hanging out and talking football. So
So, other
yeah,
12 games
12 games. Everybody plays 12, and it
plus
used
a
to be 11. You remember it used to be 11 games, and it's been 12 games for quite a few years. But the good thing about 12 games is most teams are scheduling an FCS opponent and then a G5 opponent and then maybe one Power 5 program out of conference, right? And usually their Power 5 program is like Vanderbilt or Wake Forest. They don't want to play anybody with any clout. So that's it. But West Virginia plays 11 Power 5 programs every year. Every year. You can go back 5 years if you want to. Look, every year we play 11 Power 5s, and we don't shy away. Hell, in 2014, we played Alabama, you know, in the kickoff classic, good game. That was good. We play Alabama again in 2027. We don't shy away. We play 11 Power 5 teams every year at West Virginia because we feel like, the university feels like, and I'm the same way. You're either going to lose or win, right? And if you can win, that's how you build a program. You want to win those games. And if you can beat 11 Power 5s, guess what that means? That means that you are a pretty damn good team when you've beaten 11 Power 5s. If you can go undefeated, if you can go 12-0. And then the good thing about it is, it's just like West Virginia, since they do play 11 Power 5s, if any team's going to go 10-2 and make the playoffs, it would be a team like West Virginia because they played 11 Power 5s. Where everybody else is playing 9 or 10 Power 5s. That's it. So, Timothy Green, hey, about things. Says, hello, Dave. What's up, Joey? Let's go. Mountaineers. That's right, Timothy. Oh, yeah. So, Timothy, you have to go back and rewind and watch the beginning. I was talking about the presidents, who I thought could be president at West University. Might want to watch that, Timothy. Went over some good stuff here. Controversial Cruising coming in with his national championship trophies, his football championship trophies. But anyway, we want to just come on and hang out for a little bit. I don't even have any idea what we want to talk about now. What do you want to talk about, Dave?
Well, I will just quickly
I tell
say
you what
that
I'm gonna do. I tell you what I'll do. I will drop a link. Let's see if anybody wants to come in and hang out. I haven't seen Jackson Johnson out there to chat. I don't know if where he is. It's not like him to not be here. But anybody wants to come in, talk some college football, let's talk. Let's just hang out a little while. I'm all for sitting here hanging out for a couple hours if y'all want to. But I'm not going to with just a few of you in the chat and nobody in here with me, but me and Dave. Me and Dave can go somewhere and have some fun.
I think we're both going to be happy. I don't know about happy, but I think we can be fairly confident in feeling that both of our programs are kind of, you don't know how things are going to play out. Okay. But if the worst case scenario is 7-5, um, you know, it could be worse. You know what I'm saying? Losing seasons and stuff. There's so much a tradition at certain schools that that alone will carry them for half of the half their games. You know what I'm saying? It's they're going to win their share. And if they've got something special going on, then you're looking at the 9-3, 10-2, 11-1 kind of thing, or better.
Right.
Um, I'm not hearing a lot of talk about play. I remember when Pat White was playing. Would you mention Harris or something like that?
Yeah.
A few of them. I remember some of these guys from back in the day and the type of programs that they've had. Some of the coaches, just the tradition. I've seen that long rifle. You know about my feelings on the coonskin hat and the long rifle. Yeah, so tradition means a lot. It's a great school, and when you're talking about the not athletic, but the presidents of the university, I think it's a proud state, a proud university, and I love that you have such great candidates to lead the school.
Yeah.
And if you have good people there, and you'll continue to have success in all the programs, including athletics.
Yeah.
You know,
So I'm going to share a screen. Just all right. So West Virginia's win total for this year, Vegas set it at 6.5. I mean that's absolutely ridiculous if you ask me. All right. So this is where I bet. Bet US. So this is where I bet. Where's college football? There it is. College football. Let me click on that. Down here and see what we've got. Hey, football. College football. Um, let's see. See what we got here. Do they have anything? They got all NFL. Oh, there we go. College. And there ain't nothing there. They don't have anything there. I do have some bets though on the. Here, let's go and look at this. Let's see the bets that I've got. Um, where is my? I've got $1,500 in pending wagers. I gotta find them though. I don't know where they are. Oh, there we are. Pending wagers. So I bet $275 because I'm a dumbass. At West Virginia would cover 11 on the Penn State game. West Virginia will cover the 11. I also bet $25 that the SEC, which conference will have the most teams in the number one position through the year, and I've got SEC. Pending $250 to bet 100,000 to win 100,000. If West Virginia can win the national championship, always do that. Yeah. Hey, one of these days, $10 on West Virginia to win the championship in 2025 national championship. And then 4,000 for that one. I don't want that. I don't want to chat. No, I don't want to chat. No, I don't want to chat. What the hell are you doing to me? I don't want to chat. Yes, I'm going to stop chatting. Thank you. All right, there we go. And then I have $100 bet on Texas to be the national championship because Texas is who I think will win the national championship this year. So I bet $100 on it. So that's kind of some of my bets for preseason, early preseason. Have you placed any bets at all preseason, Dave, or do you do that? No.
They tried to get me into it. The last thing I did was a fantasy thing about 15 years ago. Came in second, so
I've always
not bad.
I've always done it. I always bet $250 for West Virginia to win a national championship. Now, When the odds are really good in our favor, like they were back in 2007, they were really good in our favor even going into the year. Um, I think I bet 1,000, but I wasn't going to win as much as I would this year. This year, I can bet $250 and win 100,000 if they win the national championship. But back then, if you bet $250, you might have won $400 if they won the national championship. Because they were just a favorite, one of the favorites. So,
What was West
uh,
Virginia's best year? Were they undefeated but didn't get into the title game? Has that happened? Or one loss, maybe? What am I thinking of?
Timothy, I did take the over on West Virginia too, and it might be on there. Probably another page of bets that I didn't go to. I was just going to that to talk about some of these bets. But yeah, I did take the over. The over under is 6.5 on West Virginia for the year, from Vegas, and I think West Virginia can win 7 games in their sleep this year. So,
That's like I said, with not enough knowledge, I'm going with 7-5 minimum, and would love to
yeah,
see them
yeah.
do better than that. That's why I said it was kind of surprising to see who their top teams were. I mean, I couldn't believe teams like Texas Christian or Texas Tech weren't picked to do a little better.
Well,
Uh,
Texas Tech was picked last year to be really good, and for some reason they fell apart. Now they played better towards the end of the year; they came together, and if that progress continues this year, they're going to be a tough team. Texas Tech's going to be a tough team. But if they have any little bit of backsliding the first part of the year, it's going to be just like last year, and and just a unfortunate year for them because they really had the team last year. I felt like to win the Big 12, and they just did not come to life. A team that came to life towards the end of the season was Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State started out the year, they were horrible. My God, they were really bad. And then they found Ollie Gordon, their running back. And oh, by the way, yeah, he was the best running back in the country last year. And oh, by the way, he's the best running back coming back in the country this year. And only played in like 8 games last year. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that he didn't even play the first like 3 games. I don't believe. I don't believe he got in the game at all the first 3 games. They threw him in because they figured, hey, can't get no worse. Let's see what happens. And he started tearing it up. Ollie Gordon is an amazing back. So Oklahoma State's got a running back. Got to watch out there. Now, if he gets hurt, if Ollie Gordon, and I don't want that to happen to the young man, I sure don't at all. But something happens if he would get hurt, or I don't know. Let's just say he drops some grades, and can't play because of his grades or anything, right? I think Oklahoma State will fall apart. I do not think they've got anybody that can, uh, like with Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State could win the Big 12. Without Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State would be lucky to finish in the top 12 for Big 12. That's how good Ollie Gordon is, in my opinion. I don't know how anybody else feels about that. That's how I feel. Ollie Gordon's an amazing player. So anyway, all
ain't
right. Well,
nobody.
I don't guess anybody's gonna come in here and join us. So I tell you what, Dave, we've been going about 40 minutes, and there's nothing else to really talk about. We are going to have a show tomorrow night. I will be live tomorrow night for the West Virginia live show, and I'm going to try to get a couple people on here with me to break down the roster. We're going to talk about each player in depth. We're going to go over some stats from last year and maybe even the previous year if they were there. And even teams like if they are transferred from Northwestern, we got a couple of transfers from Northwestern. We'll give you their stats at Northwestern, what we think they can do, where they project to be on the field for West Virginia, because obviously they're probably going to move positions or maybe not even be a starter at West Virginia, and they might have been starters at Northwestern. So, so Timothy says, speaking of Ollie Gordon, I just wonder what they're going to do, if anything, to him for the drunk driving charge. No, Timothy, they're doing nothing, absolutely nothing. You know, and Mike Gundy caused some slack about that, but go back and watch Mike Gundy at Big 12 Media Day, and he talks about that. Watch Mike Gundy's Big 12 Media Day interview, and you'll see his answer to that. So, Ollie Gordon will get away scot free with his DUI. Now, look, he's a young man. He made a mistake. I don't know him, so I can't say that he's an alcoholic or that he does it all the time. It might have just been a one-time thing, and he shouldn't have been doing it, and he made a mistake because he's a young kid. And if that's the case, I'm all for, hey, give the kid another chance here. Let's. But now, if it's a habit of him drinking and driving, and the university knows this, and they're doing nothing to stop it, well, they're just asking for trouble. So that's in my opinion. So, all right, guys. Dave, I'm gonna sign us out of here. Me, you can sit in the back room and talk for a little bit though.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
I will, like I say, everybody, I will come back tomorrow night. I will be back with you tomorrow night. We will break down West Virginia University's football roster. I will break down the schedule in detail. I will give you my ultimate overall what I think West Virginia will finish this year. I have been right on the money for many years, pretty much, um, except for last year. I thought we would go 8-5. I figured we go 8-4 and lose our bowl game. And I figured we go 8-5. We went 9-4. We ended up winning the bowl game. So I was dead on for the year, but I missed the bowl game. So anyway, um, everyone, appreciate you being here, and we will be back tomorrow night and see you then.